If I had to make one video to literally send to my younger self, I actually wouldn't send them this video because I would want myself to go through these things so I'd actually learn it. I'm the type of dude that needs to touch the stove to actually learn. But if I had to send a video to you and you're 18 or whoever, whatever age you are, and I just, things that I wish I knew earlier if it was in my cards to know these things earlier. I'm big on I don't regret anything. But there's some things I've learned at the point in my life. I'm 25. If you don't know me, my name is Jamar Root. I'm an inspirational speaker. I like to really call myself a philosopher. And I help people figure out the best way to live the best version of their life, to live the life they actually want, or even better, live a life they're meant to live. Sometimes the life we're meant to live is better than what we can dream of right now. And I want to help you become who you're meant to become. I want to help you reach all the dreams you're meant to achieve. I want you to dream bigger. I want you to achieve and fulfill your potential. And in this video, as I do in all my videos, I try to help you become the best version of yourself. And today I want to go through a couple things as somebody that's 25. It's kind of crazy to think, man, like 7 years ago, I was 18 years ago. It's crazy to think about in just 2 years, I have my 10-year high school reunion. I feel super old. Am I unk now? I don't know. I still feel super young. My beard's still kind of coming in. I don't know. But I want to go through some things that are super pivotal that I think people should know earlier in life, because there's a lot of misconceptions. There are a lot of things when you're 17, 18, 16, however old you are, even when you're like 25, my age, that people are still thinking. And it's like, yo, that is just wrong. And that's the way to lead yourself on a life that you're not happy with. That's the way to live a life that other people may be proud of you, but you're not proud of yourself. That's the way to not reach your full potential. There's all these things, and a lot of things I'm mentioning in this are things that I think are the counter to what like society is telling us to do, okay? It's the counter of what we feel pressure to do, okay? Because there's a lot of things that are just wrong, but it's just what average people do. And you're being trained to be an average person, but not the best version of you. And today, I don't want you to become an average person. Most of the advice that's out there in the world is from average people. So if you listen to average people, what's going to happen? You're going to become an average person. That's not what we're going to do today. Because you clicked on this video, you're searching for knowledge, you're searching for a way to be a better version of yourself. So I already commend you. You already are better than most. So let's continue on that path of being special by actually thinking differently, okay? And we're going to do that first with these 12 different things. The 13th one actually is a bonus, but it's really the most important, so stick around for the end of the video. But all of these joints, I ain't gonna lie, are pretty cold. I'm not gonna lie, and I wish I had them if it was in my cards to have them back then. But the first one, and this is so important because this kind of goes in line with everything that's in the rest of this video and goes in line with everything for the rest of your life. But the key to everything is learning who you are. That's the key. I think a lot of times, especially when we're like 16, 17, we're trying to figure out, what do you want to be when you grow up? What job are you going to do? All these things. And it's like, who's to say that's who we are? When you figure out who you are, like who you are at the core, like not just what your name is, not just what school you went to, not just where you're from, not what your last name is, who are you in the deepest part of your soul? And when you can carve that out and figure out who that is with bits and pieces every single day, it makes all the decisions. It makes it makes everything else make sense and more simple. But when you're doing things outside of who you are, all the things that people tell you have to do to get certain things won't feel natural. But when you're doing the things that you know are who you are, all the other things kind of just fall in line. And so I'm going to give you some more things here. But if the thing you're doing isn't who you are, then it's just going to have friction. When I speak on this camera, with this mic, with this phone, and I make this board, for other people, this would be more challenging. Maybe because they're just starting out, but also because it's not who they are. So even when I wasn't good at speaking on this mic, because it was who I was willing to go through the struggle, the pain, the challenges. And now I'm doing this, and I feel at bliss every morning that I do this, because this is who I am. It took me a long time to figure that out. But when we're making decisions, when we're trying to go through life, our decisions shouldn't be, where can I play it safe? Where can I make sure this and this happens? Because you'll never know what's going to happen. The key is, where am I going to be able to learn who I am? Where am I going to be challenged at? Where is it going to force me to explore? When you're 18 years old, bro, sis, whoever you are, I'm telling you, most people who say, I want to be this at 18, most of them don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that if you have something at 18 years old and you feel it in your conviction, that's what you're meant to do, go for it, believe in it, go for it. But all I'm saying is it's super normal to not know what's going on, which brings me to the next one, because I think a lot of times we think we're supposed to have it all figured out, but here's something we don't realize. And this is a lesson that I've come to peace with, and it's made my life so much better. Okay, and if you watch a lot of my videos, you probably know what I'm about to do. I plug this into every one of my videos because it's like my core philosophy on life that has changed my life, that I think everybody should just understand. But it's the fact that we are all lost. Some people will try to make it seem like they got life figured out. Some people would like to show you, oh, I got an apartment, I got a job, oh, whatever it may be. They got this, that, they got money, whatever it may be. They'll try to prove they have life figured out, or you'll get advice from somebody. But the reality is nobody knows what the heck is going on, okay? Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows what the future has in store. Nobody knows what being a human really is. We're all kind of like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? And throughout life, there will never be a point that you have things figured out. And so if you're trying to make decisions to make it seem like you're not lost, if you're trying to make decisions so you cannot be lost, I'm telling you, you're making a decision for something that'll never happen. Instead of trying to have everything figured out, you should just realize that learning who you are is a forever going process. And as you keep learning, it makes it easier to make decisions, but it will continuously be a mystery. And that's what makes life fun. It can either be fun or it can be scary. It just depends on how you look at it. And when you realize we're all freaking lost, every single person on this earth doesn't know what the heck is going on. Your teacher doesn't know what the heck's going on. She can barely decide what she's getting for lunch today. But you're supposed to know what you want to do for the rest of your life. Nobody knows what's going on. I don't know what I want to do tomorrow. I don't know what I want to do next year. And that's okay. And if you feel pressure to have your whole life figured out, I'm telling you right now, everybody does. So let off some of that pressure because you don't need to have it. Most of the pressure to have life figured out are by people that don't have life figured out, or by people that have settled for something because they never went for whatever they want. I'm sorry, I get so passionate about this topic because I if you don't know me, I speak across the country, speaking to students about this, finding their passion, figure out what they want to do when they grow up. And so many kids feel like they're supposed to have it figured out. And it's just like, man, these adults who aren't even happy or telling them to settle or telling them to figure it out when they don't even know what the heck's going on. It just pisses me off, okay? And that's why I got there. But just know, we're all lost. I don't know what the heck's going on. I'm making these YouTube videos. I do a lot of cool stuff. People may think, man, Jamar got to figure it out. I promise you, I don't know what's going on. I'm still trying to figure out my dating life right now, bro. I'm just trying my best, okay? There will always be parts of your life that you will feel lost in, okay? There will be some parts you feel better, some parts you know what I'm saying? But that's part of the process. That's what allows you to grow. So don't feel pressure to have it figured out, because guess what? You really never will, but you'll get bits and pieces. Life is just a never-ending puzzle of you putting the pieces together, of you figuring out life and who you are, but the puzzle never ends, okay? Just enjoy the puzzle. Okay, I feel like that's going to click for somebody. Next one. Doing things the right way is the path to, I'm going to do this all caps, average. If you do everything the quote-unquote right way, you do everything your parents say, you do everything they say in school, like you're always following all the rules, that's the path to be an average person. If you're always coloring inside the lines, that's the path to being an average person. The person that changes things is the person that's okay with confrontation. The person that changes things for the better is the person that's thinking differently. The person that's able to live life they actually want is somebody that's willing to say, okay, you don't agree with what I'm doing with my life, but I'm still going to go and do this. You have to be willing to be different. You have to be willing to not always be in the light of, oh, I'm so proud of this person. No, you should be able to say, look, this is what I want for my life. This is the way I'm thinking. This is the way I do this. And that's what allows things to be beautiful. If everybody was the same, life would be so freaking boring. It's the freaking troublemakers that make the world evolve. Everything we see in this world was once impossible, right? Everything. But somebody was crazy enough to say, hey, we could do that. It took them saying, hey, the way we do this is cool, but there can be a better way. But if you're always saying we're just going to do things the right way, we'll still be riding on horses, bro. Okay? We still wouldn't even have a microwave. You know how cool it is to just put some food in the microwave? But somebody say, you know what? I bet there's a better way, bro. We don't got to freaking get this fire. I don't know. There's all these innovations because somebody said, I'm not just going to do it the way everybody else is. Now, I'm not saying to break every rule. I'm not saying to not listen to your parents or your teachers, but like think for yourself. Like you are you for a reason. You have different feelings, different thoughts for a reason. Like don't be a bot. You know what I'm saying? Some people are bots. You know what I'm saying? They are an AI, bro. Don't be a bot, okay? The way to be average is to think and be like and listen to everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's how you become average. So if you want to be able to become the best version of yourself, don't do things all the time the right way. That doesn't mean not to go to school and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Don't take this too harshly. But, do things your way. That's the way you find your way. Ooh, that was do things your way. That's how you find your way. That sounds cool. All right, the next one. And this kind of goes with that one. Independent thought is a necessity for greatness. I don't know why I had that line go by. But yeah, but being able to think independently is the necessity from greatness. I feel like I got so passionate about this one, then I kind of bled into this one. But if you want to be able to be great, you have to be able to think independently. You have to be able to say, I see everybody's thinking that way, but I'm going to think this way. Like I remember when I was in college, my freshman year, the first day I got on campus, if anybody knows my full story, I went to Temple University in Philadelphia and I majored in sports management before I became a motivational speaker, inspirational speaker. And I remember on the first day they took us to like all the sports, not conferences, sports arenas. And we met all these people that worked in sports. So it was like our dream jobs at the time. And everybody was like all goo gaga about it and thinking it was just a fun field trip. And I was like, nah, bro, it's all these professionals. I'm about to think differently and actually like go up to them and like ask for opportunities. Everybody else goo gaga taking pictures. Everybody else just happy to be there. I'm like, bro, this is a business, dog. I'm trying to get, you know what I'm saying? And I ended up not shooting my shot because I wasn't trying to get her like to be my girl. But this lady I met, I introduced myself, asked her if she had any, this do-rag kind of tight. Asked her if she had any like opportunities. And I got plugged in with my first internship in college because with the Major League Baseball team, the Phillies, I got that because I was thinking differently. I was the greatest one in that group. Why? Because I wasn't abiding by what everybody else was doing. I was thinking for myself. That allowed me to be great. That allowed me to get myself ahead of all of my competition, okay? Just something to think about. Here's another one. Risk is necessary for anything valuable. So anything that you want, anything that truly has value, bro. Like not the stuff that's just right there, bro, but anything you truly want, whether it's a pretty girl, whether it's a good job, whatever it may be, a business, it's going to take risks. You're going to have to put yourself out there. You're going to have to risk failure, risk embarrassment, risk whatever it may be. Risk is a part of life. You shouldn't fear risk. Fear is part of the equation of you becoming who you're meant to become. Fear is part of you getting what you're meant to get. Fear is part of everything. And if you're ducking risk, what you'll realize is while you're maybe being more safe, but you're also risking forever regretting something. Okay, so that's what I always like to trick myself in my mind to do. Okay, there's a risk to here. There's a risk here. There's a risk making this video. There's a risk going for my dreams. There's a risk quitting my job. There's a risk going for this girl, whatever it may be. But there's a risk of forever thinking, man, what if I would have went for it? And I think that's a greater risk than whatever risk you're dealing with, whatever you're going to go through. So as you're going through this life, and maybe you're only 18 years old, maybe you're 17, 16, whatever it may be, as you're going through this life, I need you to know when you get that feeling to go for something, when you want it, whatever it may be, there's a reason for it. And you're risking unlimited possibilities by not going for it. And you're risking it because you're afraid of failure. But regardless if you get the win or the loss, you're going to grow. You're going to learn. You're going to be more prepared for the next opportunity. But you not going for it is not going to get you closer, and it's going to make you feel even worse. So you need to just go for it. And a lot of times, some dreams that we go for, that we risk, we end up facing exactly what we risk. Like we fail. This is what we feared, but that's actually what prepares us for something better in the future. You shot at that girl, she didn't like you, but now you learned not to put too much value in rejection because it ain't that deep. And now the next girl you see ends up becoming your wife. It's just a quick example I like to use, but sometimes we're meant to fail, so we realize failure isn't as bad as regret, okay? Regret is the worst thing, okay? In your life, what you want to avoid the most is regret. One of the main things people say at their deathbed isn't, isn't all these things we think are that valuable. Is usually I regret not telling somebody how I felt. I regret not going for what I wanted. I regret. That's what you hear on deathbeds. So in the beginning of your life, you should know, in right now, I wish I knew this, that it's better to risk things going for you want than to risk forever regretting something. I hope you hear this, and I hope you take that with value. Okay, next one. Getting out of your comfort zone is key to growth. One of the things you need to like just be spamming, like you in a game, you're just spamming a button. You need to just be spamming getting outside of your comfort zone, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations, because those are where you have the greatest opportunity to grow. I like to always use the example of the weight room. If you want to get bigger muscles, right? I think I got a little something. I've been in the gym, man. But if you want to get bigger muscles, I can't lift the 5-pound weights when I curl. Gotta lift them 35s, bro, them 30s. I was lying. I don't be lifting 35. I lift the 30s now. I can lift 35s on the curls, but I can't rep it consistently. I'm repping the 30s right now. I could probably rep the 35s. But I'm going on a tangent trying to show off. But getting out of your comfort zone is key. Like for me, I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I went to school in Philadelphia. Like I never experienced cold like that, okay? That was very uncomfortable. I didn't have any friends there. It forced me. I became a much more social person because I had to. I was forced to. Okay, I ended up just achieving a lot of things because I had to. Okay, getting out of your comfort zone puts you in a little bit of survival mode that forces you to learn more about yourself. When you're in places where you know you're gonna be fine, you don't grow because you don't have to. Okay, you got to put yourself where you force yourself to be uncomfortable. I used to go to concerts by myself. Forced me to be uncomfortable. I used to do all these things, go up to girls even though I was scared, forced myself to be uncomfortable. All of these things are going to allow you to grow, find out more about yourself. If you know you can achieve a goal that isn't the right goal, you need to be going for goals that seem impossible because they're going to force you to realize that there's more that you're capable of. When you know you're capable of something, doing it doesn't allow you to grow because it's already in you. The ability to learn how to do something is within you doing it when you're not ready. So you have to be doing stuff that you think is impossible. You have to try things. I remember when I first tried to make videos, like it felt impossible. But me doing it was the best opportunity for me to grow. Now, I'm not saying to do anything that's uncomfortable, okay? I'm saying do the things you feel called to do that also feel uncomfortable, okay? So if you see the pretty girl, go up to her even though it's uncomfortable. I'm not saying to go up a girl you don't like or you don't think is pretty just to be uncomfortable. I mean, you can do that if you want, but I'm just saying go do the things you're called, you feel it in your heart, and get uncomfortable, and you're going to grow regardless of the result, okay? That's all I'm saying. Next one. Oh, I love this one. Realize your opinion is the most important. One of the things we tend to do, especially in the beginning of our lives before we become adults, because so many times people have been making decisions for ourselves, like our parents have told us what to do, or our teachers, whatever it may be. Goodness, this Durex Tech today. And we get programmed to listen to other people to tell us what to do, and we fail to realize the best person to be making decisions for our life and the best opinion for our life and the decision we make is our own because we're the ones that has to live with those decisions. So if your parent tells you you need to be a doctor, but you don't want to be a doctor, you shouldn't be a doctor, okay? That's my personal opinion. I believe we're all called to do something we love to do. And if we're not doing what we love to do, we're missing out on the potential we have inside of us, okay? And it's through the things we love to do that we're more willing to be uncomfortable with because we love the process with it regardless of the results. When you're only doing things for the results or things you can't control, that's when you don't become the best version of yourself because it's not worth it, okay? And so you have to realize people can say things about you, say this is what makes the life great, this is what you should do, but that's always on their definition of success. So one of the things you have to realize, and this almost should have been its own lesson, is that the word success is a word in the dictionary that should be different for everybody because everybody's definition of success is different. So when somebody's telling you how to reach success, they're telling you how to reach success for them. But only you can really know what success is to you because it's almost an abstract thought in your mind. It's almost impossible to fully put that in words. But only you fully know what you want. Or even if you don't know what you want, maybe you know what you don't want. You know how you feel when you do certain things. You're the only person to know how you feel. You can explain things to people, people can see you, people can grow up with you, but you're the only person that can really feel how you feel when you're doing something. Like right now, I'm in flow state and it's kind of insane to feel. I can't put this into words, but nobody can tell me how I feel when I'm here. Like I'm not even thinking. All the words that are coming out my mouth are just coming out my mouth without me even trying. Like I'm really like a freestyle rapper and I'm just talking. Like I'm really like out of body right now. I wonder if y'all can feel this, but I'm like out of body. It just, the words are coming out of my mouth. This is actually an insane feeling right now. Like what the heck? But only I can feel this, okay? Only I can feel how special it is when I get in my zone and I'm with the camera. Only I can feel that. And this is just such like a good feeling because I'm doing what I love to do. And I bet it's making purpose in somebody's life. But even if it isn't, I know I'm living where I'm meant to live. I know I'm doing what I'm meant to do. You need to realize your opinion is the most important opinion because you're the only one that knows your experiences and how you feel. Someone can hear what you've went through, the experiences or things that are happening in your life, but you're the only one that can feel and understand that. So you're the number one opinion. It doesn't mean not to listen to other people's opinion. It just means to prioritize your opinion. Whew, that was good. Man, I just love what I do, man. I really do love what I do. Okay, next one. There's always another. And what do I mean by this? I'm keeping it simple for the writing, but obviously I mean more. There's always another. So I remember I used to think like, man, I got this and then it went away. I'll never get another. Oh, I got this job and then this happened. I'll never get another. I'm scared. Or you'll have it and you're like, I want to keep it because I'm afraid I'm not going to get. There's always another. And that's in all facets of life. Okay. And so like I remember my first girlfriend, she was doing all this messed up stuff to me. And it was breaking my heart, but I stayed with her because like, man, am I going to be able to get another girlfriend? There's always another girl. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this job isn't the best, but, you know, will I really be able to find another job? There's always another job. Oh, my goodness, this friend is treating me wrong. There's always another friend. I promise you. After living life a little bit, there's always another. Always. And if there isn't one and if you lose them and there isn't one for a little bit, guess what? You're just not meant to have one right now. You're not meant to have a girlfriend. You're not meant to have that type of job right now. There's all these things that are happening for a reason, but there's always another. But staying somewhere that you know isn't what it should be or isn't at the best, isn't as good as it should be or as you want it to be, is you missing out on time to get something that could be better. There's unlimited possibilities out there, and you are on the others. You can get all those things when you stop holding on to things that you've already learned aren't for you. A lot of people hold on to things that aren't for them because they want to make sure they at least have something. But that exact thought is what's causing them to miss out on having what's actually meant for them. I know I just cooked right there. A lot of people are, not only do they stay with things that aren't for them, they'll trick themselves into believing what they have is meant for them, even though they know it's not meant for them, because they're afraid they'll never get what's meant for them. But them in the process of doing this manipulation in their mind is what's causing them to never get what's meant for them. Oh, I was cooking, but I couldn't finish it. I felt like a running back that run 99 yards, and then he like stumbles and gets tackled on the 1 yard line. I was cooking. But there's always another, bro. Don't sweat it. There's always another. And you're a human being. You got survival mode tactics. If you need to get it out that mud, you'll get it out that mud. But if you don't risk it, if you don't leave what you know ain't meant for you, you are the one preventing you from getting what you're meant for. You're missing out on your wife, dealing with this girl that, you know what I'm saying? You're missing out on your husband dealing with this guy that you know ain't meant for. You're missing out on this dream job, this dream business, dealing with these people and this boss you know you're not meant for. Okay? So just know there's always another. All right? Don't sweat it. There's always another. Next one. Who you surround yourself with matters. This is big. One of the things my grandfather told me maybe a year or two before he passed, he was like, Jamar, never be the smartest person in a group. Never. If you're the smartest person in the group, you're only going to get dumber. He didn't say that part, but that's just me filling in the blanks. And it's just like, I'm not telling you to always pick your friend group based off intelligence. I'm just saying, You know what I'm saying? Just don't be with straight idiots if you're trying to become a smart person, okay? Who you surround yourself is what influences your beliefs. If you're trying to believe in your dreams, the people around you need to be people that believe in their dreams, because that's going to peer pressure you to believe in your dreams. You need to be around people that are ambitious if you want to be ambitious. You need to be around people that are successful in a business if you want to be successful in a business. Okay. Now, I'm not saying those need to be the only people you hang around. You can have different people for different parts of your time, but the majority of who you spend your time with is who you become. Now, I've seen that so many times. And when I was around a bunch of foolishness, I started doing more foolishness. When I was around less foolishness, I did less foolishness. Okay. But when I steadied myself around people that thought like ambitious person, that thought about doing things they love to do, that thought about doing things differently, that thought about, not always doing things the right way, I ended up becoming more of that. I ended up becoming more of a trailblazer. And this also has to do with like what's on your phone, what you listen to, what you read online, what you follow on social media. Those all count as who you surround yourself with. So if you listen to a rapper that's all about dumb stuff, effing these girls and doing this and disrespecting people, then that's all you gonna care about. But if you listen to some music that actually inspires you, guess what? You're gonna do more inspirational, you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm trying to say to y'all, man. If you follow more motivational stuff, you'll be more motivated. It's pretty simple. That's how our mind works. Our mind is literally our mind is what creates our reality. So what you give to your mind is what you're creating. We're all artists. We're all creating our own lives, okay? Who you surround yourself is literally dictating how you think, and how you think is how you believe. And if you believe, that's what you can obtain. Anything your dreams, every dream, anything is possible, okay? That should have been another lesson. Anything is freaking possible. Everything was impossible until somebody was crazy enough to believe in it. But the way a dream or a way a goal becomes possible is just by the person trying to achieve the goal or the dream to believe in it. That's all it takes. The rest is just time. So if you believe in it, it's going to happen. So you need to be surrounded by people that influence you to believe. If the people around you don't make you more of a believer into your dreams, they're the wrong people to be hanging around with. If you're following pages on Instagram that don't make you more of a believer in your dreams, those are wrong pages to be subscribing to. If you watch people on YouTube that don't inspire you, those are wrong people. Now, I'm not saying don't have people that make you laugh that are completely unrelated. I'm just saying to watch the full pie. It's okay to have super stuff. And that brings me to the next one. Having fun and being stupid helps your creativity. So this is kind of different. This is probably something you didn't expect to see on here, okay? But one of the things I think a lot of motivation speakers will ram all these things, pause, but we'll kind of hammer down, pause too. But we'll say all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? And we act like having fun isn't something you should do. And I like to make the case that having fun isn't just something you should do just because you're young and it's cool to do, fun to do, but it's also like it's productive. Having fun is what gives you stories and inspiration to think of your next big idea. Working hard is cool, but ideas change the world. It's just ideas then have to be worked hard on, but without the ideas, there's no hard work to work on. There's no work to work hard on. And so you need to have fun and be still, because it allows you to meet people, allows you to get things out. It's in your energy. We're all kids. We're all kids forever. Never let nobody take away being a kid. I think somebody said the key in evolution is becoming a man but never losing the boy in you. I heard that somewhere. I think it was Sean Kelly on a Twitch stream. If anybody knows Sean Kelly, he's the dude who runs with Larry June, my favorite rapper. But I think it's super important that we still have fun and we do stupid stuff, because it allows us to what's the word? It's like an outlet, you know what I'm saying? We have to feed all parts of our souls, okay? And that gives us creativity to find things we love to do. It allows us to learn more about ourselves, and it allows us to, just be well-rounded. I talked about, the definition of success earlier. I think we all have multiple definitions of success. We have definitions of success for our career, definition of success for our family, and that's all different. We have definitions of success for friendship. To fulfill all your definitions of success, you got to have fun. You got to be stupid. But being stupid and having fun also helps you with your work and whatever you do because it gives you ideas. You know how many YouTube videos I have? And a lot of the ideas and a lot of the stories I use is from me being stupid. I wrote a whole book, and most of the freaking ideas came when I was in the back of an Uber drunk, but I had these ideas. If it wasn't for me getting inspired by having this one conversation with this girl randomly, like all these things happen from having fun. And I always like to say, a lot of times people will say, well, Jamal, I want to wait to having fun and doing this stupid stuff till I have things figured out, till I have a good job, there will always be something, bro. There will always, I want to wait to be happy until I finish school. I want to wait to be happy till I make this much money. I want to wait to be happy till I get a house. I want to wait. There will always be something. If you always put happiness on pause until you get something or you do something, you'll never have the opportunity because there'll always be something. So have fun now. Just balance it. Make your priorities. Don't make this a priority, but make it a priority. Okay, don't make it the priority. Make it a priority because it helps you be a well-rounded person and helps you be more creative and have ideas. Okay. Next one. Be able to know the season you're in. This is big, and this kind of goes with number 10 a little bit. But there's different seasons in our life, okay? What you'll realize is there's seasons where you got to be grinding. There's seasons where you're a little bit more lax. You're a little more creative. You're more, you know what I'm saying? There's seasons where you just got to just go hard and doing things you don't even like just to pay the bills so you can fund the dream. There's sometimes you're going to have to lock in on something and push everything else away. Sometimes you're going to have to be multitasking. There's sometimes you got to just be a learner. Sometimes you got to play the background. Knowing the season you're in and really being in tune with your higher self, and that takes meditating, that takes listening to yourself, that takes really having awareness and asking yourself questions like, hey, how did I feel when I did this? What do I truly want, not just what other people want from me? When you become more aware of yourself, I'm not telling you to have this all at 18. I'm still learning how to do this. But the more you become tapped into what you really want, you get more clarity. The more you understand what's actually what works best for you, you'll start to understand different parts of your life to have different seasons. And in those seasons, you got to be dedicated to that season. Like for me, when I wrote my book, it's going to launch in 2 months, probably more like a month from when y'all watching this video. But the year of me writing the book, I knew that in that season, I could just feel it. I couldn't go on any dates. I couldn't drink any alcohol. I couldn't do the clubbing with my friends, the partying. I need to just lock in so I can have a clear mind to work on the biggest project of my life. But when I was done with that, guess what? I went back to doing stupid fun stuff so I can be inspired for videos and just so I could have fun. And I like going on dates. I like companionship. It's just different seasons of your life. Understand the seasons of your life and stand on them, and then it makes it easier to say yes or no to things. So when people are saying, hey, Jamar, like I remember one time when I was in my season of writing my book, one of my boys was like, Jamar, there's this party. It's going to be Endless Women Party of the Year. And it was very easy for me to say no, as tempting as it sounded, because I knew the season I was in. Know the season that you're in. It doesn't mean to block off the fun all the time. It just means to know when to do it. And there's going to be certain times in your life, you know when it is, that you just got to lock in, okay? And there's certain times you're not as locked in, and that's okay too. But you always should be kind of locked in. But just know what season you're in, okay? Maybe you're 19, you go to college. Maybe this is the time to lock in on just having some freaking fun. Go to class, study a little bit, but you know what I'm saying? Go have fun, all right? Know the season that you're in. But make sure you're deciding what season you're in, not by what people are telling you should do, but what you feel in your heart is what you want to do. There's a difference, okay? So know the season you're in based off of you, not what the world is telling you, okay? Next one. And this kind of goes with what I was just ending off. Learn to trust your gut. Oof. If you can get this skill together, ladies and gentlemen, if you can get this skill, oh my goodness, you become a monster. Nothing can stop you. But it takes a courageous soul to do this, okay? We all, in my belief, have something guiding us. We have this little voice. We have this intuition. And a lot of people ignore it and they miss out on the life they're meant for because they need things to be logical. They need things to make sense. But there's this Nipsey Hussle quote where basically he was like, sometimes you don't need all the facts. Sometimes you don't need everything planned out. Sometimes all you need is your gut. and your intuition. And when you learn to follow that intuition, you learn that you have a higher version of yourself that understands the future, that just isn't going to tell you what the future has, but it's going to push you in that direction. And it's your decision if you're going to go with that direction that you feel, even though it may be counter to what other people are telling you. It may be counter to what your logic's telling you. It may be counter to what your fears are telling you. But it's through you trusting your gut that leads you to amazing things beyond your imagination. I'm somebody that travels the country, speaking to schools all across the country, and doing what I love. And this all came from me just trusting my gut. I didn't know this was possible. I didn't know I could do this, but I felt the calling, okay? And I went for it. And I just went for it, okay? And through that, regardless of the results, I was gonna grow. When you trust your gut and you risk everything for what your soul is telling you you want, for your passions, for your heart, even if it doesn't quote unquote work out, it's working out. It just hasn't fully panned out for its full purpose yet. What we have to understand is there are things working for the future that we don't even know about yet. And we have to be able to be in the present and understand that it's okay that we don't understand, but still be present enough to embrace it and not complain about it. So trust your gut. Okay, I remember I quit my job to go for this inspirational stuff, and for a year there was no motion. You know what I'm saying? There was no motion. I'm like, dang, did I make the wrong decision? No, this was just preparation. Now I have so much more gratitude every stage I get on, every time I make these videos, because I remember when I couldn't even speak on the camera. I remember when no school wanted to book me. I remember when I wasn't making no bread, but now I'm here. And now there's bigger dreams, but now I know what it feels like, and now I can make this video. Trust your gut. It knows things, okay? It's in there. It's giving you that little quibbly thing for a reason, okay? You know, when you saw that girl, you felt it in your heart. Go up to her, okay? There's a reason. It may be preparation, or that could be the girl for you. Whatever it may be, that's when you grow. But if you don't listen to your gut, if you don't go for it, you're going to risk forever regretting and forever asking yourself this question you never really want to ask yourself, and that's what if. You need to live your life trying to distance yourself from the question, what if, and just figuring out what actually would happen by actually going for it. So if you listen to your gut, man, I'm telling you, your life will change, because most people like to be logical, but nothing's logical that's great. Everything that ended up being amazing was not logical at first. And so if you really think about it, just go for the impossible, because that's where greatness lies. And guess what? If you don't make it, you can still be average. You can always be average, but you can't be great without risking something, without listening to your gut, okay? So that's the last one, but we have a bonus one I really want you to listen to, because this is something you're probably dealing with, and it's something that haunts a lot of us. But I need you to how do I want to phrase this? Yeah. No, it is a lesson. It's normal to worry about the future. It's normal to worry about the future, but don't overdo it. So a lot of us, like, I think everybody is fearful of what we don't know in the future, right? To make sure. And so we kind of get tensed up. We make decisions trying to be safe. But what I need you to know is that everything works out. It all works out. As long as you are doing what you can, you're doing, you're not overworking yourself, but you're doing what you can. You're listening to yourself. You're trying to learn who you are. You're taking your best step forward. You may not know what the best step forward is, but you're taking your best guess, and you're moving outside of your comfort zone. As long as you're doing those things, everything works out. But it's when you're trying to force things, it's when you overthink your future, is actually when you mess it up. I've seen so many people that almost tried too hard with their future, that almost like were trying to force things so they can be successful by 22. Like I was at this social event, and I met this like 22-year-old, and he was like, "How old are you?" I'm like, "I'm 25." And he was like, "Man, if I'm not rich by 25, then I'm just a failure." And he said that with dead serious. And I was like, "You know how stupid you sound? You know what I'm saying? You acting like you know the future. You don't know what life hasn't planned for you, bro. And like, come on now, stop worrying about the future. Just do what you can right now. Because what if you're not meant to be rich? What if you're meant to impact millions through a nonprofit? I don't know, but it's just like we're valuing things. It doesn't matter. When you need to release yourself from these things that you're really only going after for the approval for other people, or because you're afraid of something, release that and just be surprised. Life is a mystery. We're always going to be lost. There is no, if I just do this, life will be okay. If I can just make this money, if I can just get this job. It's never that. There's always something wrong. Money will never solve everything. A girl will never solve everything. The right person will never solve everything. The point of life is continuous growth. There is always mystery. There is always things we don't know. There's always things we're confused about. There's always a future that we're afraid of. You need to come to peace with that and not try to force it. Because when you try to force yourself to figure it out, which you'll never figure out, which is the future, that's when you actually mess up your future. So I need you to enjoy the now, have fun, do the things you love to do. Realize you have time to learn who you are because that will be forever. And just do what you can with the data you get as you go along. But enjoy the now. But you got this. If you got to this point in the video, I ain't worried about you. You gonna make it not just to what you dream about, but what you're meant for. Because what you dream about may not be big enough. But I want you to know right now, if you can follow these things, you got it in the bag. Just be consistent. Don't think things need to happen by a certain time. It's going to happen exactly when it's supposed to happen for you, okay? If you want more videos to be able to become the better version of yourself, I'll go in detail with a lot of these things in a lot of other videos or in a lot of other topics like find your passion, becoming the better version of yourself, confidence, discipline, consistency, business, learning how to make your passion into a business. I go over a lot of these things on my channel, just trying to help you become the better version of yourself and you reaching your dreams, okay? So if you want more videos like that, watch some more of my videos, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you on the next video. This was a dope one. See you on the next one. Peace.